Technology is what people use in their daily lives, whether it be phones, computers, iPads, robots that will conquer us all. I've had a lot of electronics and technology growing up. My first device was an iPad Air. I got it back when I was 4 or 5, and I remember that I used to play some weird nursery games on it, and my parents locked it with a password I didn't know, which, fair to them, is understandable. Look at the iPad kids nowadays and what happens if their parents take their iPad away from them. You can't survive without Skibidi Toilet for 1 minute. Let me make you a homemade Skibidi Toilet if it means you will be off the iPad.
It's my status ridiculous, brain rot, nibbity nop nop nop, yes, nibbity nom nip nip nip, nibbity nom nom nom, yes, nibbity nom nip nip nip. So unskibbity.
I nearly cringed so hard while doing this. Anyways, a year after I got the iPad Air, I got some weird Samsung Kids tablet. And I remember that I was watching Scaredy Squirrel, the show on it all the time. And I also remember cracking out of that weird Samsung Kids app to get to the normal vanilla Android UI. That was cool. Now I can watch YouTube. A bit after that, I got my first computer. I remember begging my dad for a computer every day. Can we get a computer? Can we get a computer? Can we please get a computer? Eventually, my dad finally cracked and got me a computer. An HP Pavilion desktop. I remember coming home one day from kindergarten and my brother flipped the Windows screen orientation upside down, so I had to fix it. The little genius 5-year-old I was. After 2 years or so, I found my dad bought a computer, an HP Pavilion laptop from 2015, but he never used it, so I took it, and used it myself. I remember that I saw this weird Microsoft browser thing and got scared it was a virus, even though I could just do this. I used it a lot for a good 3 years. I remember finding out about virtual machines. I just wanted to use the old Windows operating systems. They looked cool and fun. Is that too much to ask? After a while, the computer started feeling really slow. It was using a hard drive. It barely had any RAM, so running virtual machines on it was torture. While I had that computer, I got another iPad and iMac. I will talk about the iMac first. My dad bought a 2011 iMac in 2018, and he got ripped off hard. When we bought it, Apple stopped supporting the iMac, and my dad paid $1,000 for it, when he could have gotten an equally priced MacBook Air for the same price. Anyways, I used it as a second computer. Now, let's talk about the iPad. I remember begging my dad for it, and he got me one. Then after the computer started running like crap, I found another computer that was being unused. It was a Lenovo Yoga. It had an Intel Core i5 and a healthy 8 GB of RAM, which today is really low, but back in 2019, it was really good. I played Roblox peacefully on it. I used virtual machines without the laptop lagging hard. It was a really good laptop, and I still wanted it back, even today. But one day, my mom got really mad, so she slapped the top of the laptop with a shoe, and the laptop clamshell broke, so I couldn't use it anymore. Then, around late 2019, I kept begging my dad for a phone because all the kids in 5th grade had it, and I got my first phone on early 2020 as a reward for something good I did. It was an iPhone SE 2020, and I used it until just recently, where I changed to a different phone I will tell you about later. After that, I was switching between the iMac and the HP Pavilion I talked about earlier until in September 2020 I asked my dad for a gaming PC, and he got me one. The specs were meh. It had a Ryzen 3 and a Radeon RX 560 with 8 gigs of RAM. It was okay. it can run most games in 1080p low, so it was an okay computer. Then I got bad grades for like a month, so I was banned from using it. I was really spoiled at the time. Don't worry, I am not spoiled anymore. I will tell you why later. After a few months of using that, I wanted another iMac. So my dad got me that before we went out of town for 3 years. Then, after a year or two, I wanted a new laptop. I got one that had 2 screens because I thought that was really cool. But was really shot down when I tried to run Photoshop because the specs were really meh for 2022. 8 gigs of RAM and an Intel Core i5. So I mostly used it for web browsing. Then the laptop started failing earlier this year. So I got another one that had less gimmicks and more functionality. It had a Ryzen 9 and an RTX 3050. It didn't have 2 screens. It was a basic laptop that does what I throw at it pretty well. It can run 2 Chrome tabs without crashing. Now, when I was buying a laptop this time, I figured out that I wanted better specs and less gimmicks. Back in 2022, when I was buying a laptop, I wanted the 2 screens one because it was so cool. But I didn't pay attention to the specs. So when I tried coding or gaming on it, it chugged hard. Now, at least one of you have an unusually gimmicky laptop because us in the PC Master Race does not care about the Core i9s or the RTX 4090s. Has kind of a trade-off. Whether it be battery life, specs, functionality, etc. Will I have a gimmicky laptop again? Nope. Did I enjoy having it? Not that much, but it was cool to try something new. I had fun experimenting new things, and now I'm glad to have a normal computer again. Then, just recently, I begged my dad for an iPhone 16, and then he kept saying no. After begging him and begging him, he wouldn't crack, which I am glad he didn't, but I was still salty. But he gave me his old iPhone 12 at least. It was an improvement from my iPhone SE 2020, which had a broken home button, and it was slow and impossible to use. Want to hear something disgusting? No, wait, please don't leave. One day I was feeling really sick, but I wanted to play Roblox. So I used that HP Pavilion laptop and I wanted to vomit. I held it in, but I vomited all over the laptop. And that was the death of the HP Pavilion laptop. Died due to nassan's vomit. May you be missed. I'm content with the technology I have nowadays. It's not the best of the best, but it works pretty well for me, and that's what matters. Let me go on a little tangent. Why is there a bunch of snow on the ground? Like, dude, there is so much snow on the ground. In December 1st. Like, hey snow, hey weather, can you chill a little? Come in like 2 weeks. Don't spawn a bunch of snow in December 1st. Oh, that might come. Well, I might cancel school tomorrow. And that might cancel the stay required. Cert whatever thing we're doing. Hey snow, can you snow an avalanche tonight? For the next week or so? So we don't go to school for like 3 weeks? Thank you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and just go watch the last week's branded video because that was a lot of work, and that was really underwhelming in the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube algorithm hates me. But anyway, talk to you later. Hyperfixated on the girls, cool. Bye.